Yes?
You'd like to invite me in?
Absolutely.
Honey, who's this?
I'm going to be your guest here indefinitely. You'll be delighted.
Great. Enjoy the view.
I intend to.
That's my car.
Children should be seen and not heard. Or better still, not seen and not heard. Get into that closet.
What's for dinner?
Leg of lamb?
It's his specialty.
Let me decide that. Be warned, I have a very particular palate.
Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Travers, and welcome to Popcorn, where we tell you what's popping in the culture. And you won't find anything popping more now than Jessica Jones, because it's Marvel's Jessica Jones. And it has my guest today, the 10th Doctor Who, the 10th. And I think, let's all agree, the best Doctor Who. He's right here, David Tennant.
You flatterer, Pete.
Oh, come on, you
How
know.
lovely.
I'm going to start to your accent now.
Go
I'm
on.
going to do it. No, I can't do it. I start British and then I try to go back to Scottish. 'Cause
Okay.
You don't know who the hell you are.
I don't know who I
You
am.
don't.
I've
It's-
not a clue. No.
You keep changing accents, then you do your Broadchurch as Grace Point, and you go
Yeah,
from.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Who are you? Just
I'm,
a schizophrenic?
I'm slippery like an eel.
Oh, you really are.
Yeah.
I can just see that, and quite mad, really, aren't you?
Well, that's the eye in the eye of the beholder.
Well, I'm beholding madness in a good way.
Thank you.
In a good way.
A positive madness.
So let's talk about the appalling manipulative creep that you play on Jessica Jones.
Well, you call him an appalling manipulative creep. You know, I had to make sense of this man. I had to feel for him. I had
know.
to feel his
That's it.
pain.
Actors always have to
Well, yeah.
identify somehow with a character.
Well, you can't just play bad guy, otherwise it all becomes a bit of a pantomime, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
it? So I think you've got to understand where they're coming from. I mean, certainly, objectively, he's a pretty remorseless, nasty piece of work, but he has this ability, or possibly it's a curse, in that he compels people to do whatever he says.
Mm-hmm.
From the least little thing, you know, give me a free Starbucks, to jump off that building. You know, whatever he says, you have to acquiesce to his command. If that's your lot in life, it's very difficult to maintain a sense of appropriateness, I suspect. Because he doesn't know
Appropriateness.
Well, why am I defending this man? But it's true that he doesn't. He has no way of knowing if people are doing things because they want to or because he's commanded them to.
Oh,
That's
poor baby.
I know.
Yes, yeah,
that's
he
going
just doesn't
to
have
skew your life. You know, your worldview.
He might murder them, abuse them, attack them, but he really doesn't know whether he's
Well,
loved
he just
for
has.
himself.
He's lost all sense of appropriateness.
Are you a Marvel freak? Do you go? Is this like universe?
Well, freak is a rather pejorative term.
I'm sorry,
I might
it just
suggest.
came to me. It
But
just came
no,
to
I
me.
certainly grew up reading Marvel comics, and sort of wishing that I could watch Marvel comics in the way that you could do, wishing for the movies that now exist, wishing for the TV shows that have now become real. But I didn't know this particular comic book. This comes from a comic book called Alias, which is quite a niche comic. It's from the Marvel Max imprint, which is a range of comic books they did for a slightly more mature audience. So there's the odd rude word, there's the odd
Well, the odd everything. There's
Yeah.
rape. There's all kinds of.
it's for a more mature audience, certainly,
okay.
and that's
we don't
it.
have any in America.
You, of course, you do.
We don't. There's no mature audience. We don't want them.
But it's certainly, and this, you know, this isn't. It's from the same universe as Captain America and all those characters, but I don't think it's necessarily for. I wouldn't show it to your 10-year-old, Jessica Jones. It's a darker world. It's an adult story.
Well, that must have been part of the attraction to you.
Yeah, well, what's appealing is a complicated character, an interesting character, and this show has them in spades. You know, Jessica Jones is a fantastic hero, almost an anti-hero, really.
And it's so film noir.
Yeah.
It's just everything's dark. And you don't really, you kind of slink in through the shadows.
Yes, it takes me a few episodes before I sort of reveal myself.
Oh,
There's a lot
yeah.
of teasing goes on. I'm a
There is a
silhouette
lot of
and I'm
purple. I see the
Yeah, yeah,
purple,
yeah.
but there's no purple skin.
No, in the comic books, Kilgrave is completely purple, like the Hulk is green.
Did you
Kilgrave
miss
is purple.
that, David?
Well,
I could tell that. I think
I did kind of. When the idea was first mooted, I thought, ooh, being sprayed purple every morning, probably quite fun for a few days, but come month 6, I think I would probably have got over it. And also, I think because they're looking, some things don't necessarily move from a 2-dimensional page to a live action show in quite the way that other things do. So I think it probably makes sense that was that the purple skin was eschewed, but the purple nods are there. There's a lot of I wear a lot of purple. There's some nice lighting effects. It's very much acknowledged.
You seem to sail on your own sea, David. I get the
think
feeling
so.
that you
I hope
you
so.
do that because there is, like I said at the start, so many things that you do. You're working now, you know, even
Yeah.
though you stopped here to visit. I'm sure you're going from here to something which will you'll be on stage again. Aren't you going to do Richard II again?
I am, yes, indeed, yes. Yeah, that's next up. So I'm relearning my lines. That was a production we did for the Royal Shakespeare Company a couple of years ago. So I'm dusting that down at the moment.
I've seen your Hamlet. You're
Oh.
the only Hamlet I've ever seen that took that pause after to be and not to be, where everybody could consider that question.
Good.
Excellent use of the pause.
Well, I appreciate that.
yeah.
Thank you.
What was the first thing you did on a screen?
Oh, do you know, I was a kid still. I think 15 maybe, and I did for the local health authority in Glasgow. I did an anti-smoking film for school kids. That was the very first thing I did. It was a little sort of 10-minute film, and I played the kind of bad kid who was smoking.
Just constantly smoking.
Not
2 years.
constantly, but the thing
Yeah.
is, I had never had a cigarette in my life. And I turned up for this thing. This was my first professional gig. And I turned up for this thing, and they gave me a cigarette, and I didn't know what to do with it. and if you can find that film, and I don't know that you can, I think it's buried.
We
in
can
some-
find anything.
Well, good luck.
This is the digital age.
But you'll notice that I managed to never actually light the thing. I do a lot of gesturing, a lot of Brando-esque gesturing with this cigarette at 15, and I managed to play with it enough for my little sort of 30-second scene that I never actually light it.
Obviously, it had a very profound effect on you.
Well, it got me my equity card, my union card,
Which
so
is
it got me
crucial.
started. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that you did an anti-smoking commercial without ever smoking,
Yeah, there's
even
an
though you
acting challenge.
represented
Yeah,
that, was. So
yeah.
always you were sort of against the grain in doing that.
Always against the
The
grain.
grain, that's such a good
Or
thing.
just a really bad bit of casting, I'm not sure. But no, I did. I got away with it. Yeah, playing the bad boy.
In England, in Great Britain, when people are looking at Doctor Who, it's like James Bond. It's like you're the 10th James
Yeah.
Bond.
Yeah.
And so you get looked at as that. You can't really escape it. This is who you are to so many people.
Oh, it's a big deal. It's become a massive show around the world. It's clearly every time I come to America, I'm aware that it's becoming more and more of a recognizable thing here. But in the UK, it's run for 50 years. It's been a massive part of the cultural furniture. So, yeah, when you take that on, you're aware that the first line of the obituary has probably been written. You know that there's something there which will go
David
before you.
Doctor Who Tennant.
Yeah, and that's to be associated with something like that, though, it's a real honour, definitely. Particularly people's childhoods, because it's a family show, but kids get very wrapped up in it, which is lovely, to have that association for people.
What do you think of when you look back on it? Did you have an episode that was the one that you love the most, so that those of us Yanks that want to start now?
I don't know that I do. They're all so different. One of the great things about a show like Doctor Who is that every week you're in a new world with a new set of supporting characters. You're in a different time zone, you're on a different planet, you're whatever it is. It's not a difficult show to go to work every day because it never feels like it's the same thing twice. There's one standing set, which is the interior of the TARDIS, the spaceship that he travels around in. And there's maybe a couple of scenes in that for every episode, and after that it just keeps changing.
I would miss that so much, getting in a TARDIS and just saying, "Here I'm going."
Yeah.
If you could get in the TARDIS today,
Yeah.
even though you're not Doctor Who anymore, it's over.
I never really could get in the TARDIS.
You-
Not actually.
But where would you go though, just as you? Where would you, if you could get in that today, go?
There's lots of things I'd like
Oh,
to
come
see.
on.
I'd like to see the Beatles playing the Cavern. I'd like to see the first performance of Hamlet at the Globe Theatre. I'd like to see that. What else would I like to see?
It's very artistic what you're choosing. I like it.
Well, these are the cultural events.
Right.
I suppose I should probably go somewhere and change something, shouldn't I? Something significant. But then, of course, if one studies time travel, as I have, Pete,
You had to have. You've been doing this since
of course.
2005.
then you have to be careful about, you don't want to mess with events because that can unravel. It's the chaos theory, it's the
Yeah,
butterfly
but I don't
beats its
think you'd
wings
be
in the forest.
concerned.
Yeah,
I
but
just get the feeling.
Well, you do
would
think,
go
well,
with-
if you could time travel, should you go back and should you get in the way of Hitler or something like that? Well, yes, you probably should. But then if you do that, then what comes up in its place? It's a minefield.
in your house, I heard, because you have 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
New one.
Yes, thank you, yes.
They're watching it now?
Well, my eldest grew up with it. He's
Yeah.
13, so he's all over it. But yes, the younger ones have just recently got into it too. She's quite. I did not
Did you
force
start
that
them
upon them.
back in
Absolutely
1963?
No, absolutely not. No. In fact, that's been the issue. It took them quite a while to realise there were other people, other doctors.
Other than...
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you had that rule at home.
I did nothing.
There's
no,
only Doctor Who
I was
number
very
10.
open. They were allowed. I just, it's there. They can access it however they like. I didn't
that.
bring them to it. They found it themselves. I would like to point that out.
They just found your collection
Yeah, and-
of Doctor Who.
And it was after a while, and my 13-year-old was kind of encouraging them to look beyond my episodes. And eventually they did, and of course there's some part of you dies a little bit because
Yeah.
they prefer the other guys, fickle.
But their mother is in one of them.
She is, yes,
And
that's how we met.
her father is Doctor Who number 5.
There is also that.
Come on, this house has to be so perverse
are a
in
few
its
links.
Doctor Who-ness. Are there
Yes.
shrines to you in it? Come on, admit it. There has to be something. They can't just be finding it. That house has to be loaded with stuff like this.
It's a shrine would be an odd thing for visitors, wouldn't it? I think they might raise an eyebrow.
I've
at
been
that.
to some homes.
Do you have a shrine to yourself in your
No,
home?
because what would I have there? But the
You could
thing
have one of
is,
these.
I can
You could have a
one of
massive
these.
one of
They
these.
won't let me take it. They really won't do it. But if I had been Doctor Who,
Yeah.
I would have had a shrine. Did
Maybe
you
I'll
keep anything of the Doctors?
I got some bits of costume. I might have a sonic screwdriver somewhere. Under lock and key in a very secure location, I'd like to point out. I don't keep it at home. That would be madness.
It would. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
it's too scary.
Yeah.
So when you then considered the other things that you, at the same time, I think that you started Doctor Who, you were in Harry Potter.
Around about the same time? Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. So that's like another universe
Yeah.
of strangeness.
Well, you can never have enough reasons to go to Comic-Con, can you? So
No,
this
there's
is
never.
one. I've got Doctor Who, Harry Potter. Yeah, it's.
You can keep going.
I just want to gather as many franchises as I possibly can.
Comic-Con doesn't have a Broadchurch, though, does it?
Well,
Does-
not
does
yet. I don't think there's a Broadchurch con yet, but I'm
We can
happy to
start
entertain
one.
that idea. Yeah.
Yes, because you did this like totally unique thing is to do Broadchurch and then do the American version
Yeah,
of
that's
it,
right,
which was
yeah.
Grace Point.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
when they said that to you, did you think that they were insane, or did you just
I just
think what a
thought
great
this is such an unusual opportunity
Yeah.
to try and tell the same story but to 2 very different audiences on different sides of the world, and to play sort of the same character but an American iteration. It was such a peculiar opportunity that I thought, well, I can't not do this. This is never going to come round again. This has got to be worth a shot. Yeah.
All right. Well, this show, since you've never been on it before, so you don't know it ends in song, but it always does.
Oh, every week.
Everybody that's on just does give me a little bit of the song that's in their heart.
The song is in my heart.
Yeah, of course. I don't want it to be a song that's just in your head because it would be too intellectualized.
Wow.
I mean, it's just this kind of a thing.
I have to break into song.
You do.
You actually do
burst
this for
into
everyone?
it. Everybody. Clint Eastwood did it.
What did he sing?
He sang a song called "I Can't Get Started with You."
Wow. Does he have a good singing voice?
No.
Can't imagine there's a lot of range there.
No, that isn't the point. When I say the heart, it's that's what it is. It's the song that has to escape you.
Dear, oh
There
dear.
must have been something you were humming in the shower.
I did. I had the Proclaimers on just before I came out.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't sing.
Sure you can.
No.
What do you sing to your children, for goodness sake? They must be there, and you read them a story. when you're not forcing them to watch Doctor Who.
I sing an
you-
old Scottish
Oh, see,
nursery rhyme
that's it.
that goes Ali Bally Ali Bally Bee, sitting on your mammy's knee, waiting for a wee Bobby to buy some Cooter's candy. There you go.
That is so perfect, and it's a new you.
Better than Clint Eastwood, eh?
It should be. Yeah. It was none of Clint Eastwood in that, but he can't do Scottish.
When I come on next, I'll do that as Clint Eastwood.
Eastwood. Will
Yeah,
you? Do you
yeah,
promise?
Yeah.
David, pleasure.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Pete.
no, that was...